1 on this Tuesday morning. Wow, it's cold out there, Mike Ellison. My goodness.
It is cold.
I don't know what in the
I'm
world.
going to sit on my hands for just a couple minutes.
We had summer for Christmas, and now we have bitter cold out there. It's the wind that's getting me.
The shorts and the polos have been replaced by, the puffy jackets.
Yes, and I actually brought, I have my coat and my toboggan in my car. So if I have to get in and out today, I'm going to be prepared.
I do too. I have a toboggan in there as well. I'll soon give up this hairdo.
You have to work out in the cold, though, once you leave here today. You have farm duties, right?
That's right. I sure do.
But you forgot one important element to farm dutying, and that is what?
You should always bring your shoes.
You should always do that. Mm-hmm.
Of course, I could wear these.
You could.
People probably farmed in loafers before.
You might have, yeah. You might get those a little messed up.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably going to go to Plan B on that.
He said,
Trees.
he said, I'm probably going to go to Walmart and get me some work boots. I left mine at home again, and there's the specific word there, the emphasis on again. And I said, couldn't you get your wife to bring them? He said, I could. And he just left it like that because this is time number 3 or 4 that you've forgotten your clothes or boots at home. And 2 times I know of she brought them.
I think I've just been excited to be here.
Is that what it is?
And I get forgetful.
We'll go with that.
All right, that's my story. I'm going to stick to it.
I know one thing. I got in here, the heat was not on.
Oh, no.
It was 50 degrees in this building. And I said, no. We are not doing that today.
Right.
So I immediately bumped that heat up to 69, but it has not made it there yet. It is still cold in here.
It's up. It's climbing. Yeah, I think I can. I think I can.
It's trying its best. Oh my goodness. Well, did you have a good Christmas? Did y'all have a house full?
We did. We're blessed as a lot of people are. Have our family most of them nearby. Mm-hmm. And we went to visit a couple weekends ago. My brother Ken, a lot of folks don't know him. He grew up here as well, but he lives in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
So we spent 2 weekends ago over there. And but as far as Christmas Day and Christmas Eve, we were all family together. It was great.
Good, yeah.
It was.
It was. We cooked. We got up, husband and I both in the kitchen trying to cook at the same time on Christmas morning, trying to get everything done. And the way we have an island thing, and then we have like an add-on table with 4 little stools. And I'm going to tell you, us trying to maneuver around that in between
close.
the refrigerator and the stove and everything, You're
getting close with everybody.
Yeah, we were getting up close and personal.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would go to do something, and he would be doing something at the same time. We were bumping into each other, and I had to remember that it was Christmas morning. So I had to go get my, just breathe in, get my inner mantra, and just say, okay, he's trying to help. He's trying to do his thing. And he did. He made cornbread. He made broccoli casserole, which is out of this world, by the way. His cornbread's out of this world, too, but his broccoli casserole, man, that stuff is good. And he made deviled eggs. So, he is not afraid of being in the kitchen and helping, that's for sure.
Well, I, get stuff out of the trunk of the car and bring it in the house. That's a contribution, right?
It is.
And take the trash out, important things like that.
Well, look, I'm not saying that other men don't help out. I'm just saying that, he didn't grumble about it or anything. He got in there and he got in my way because, 2 people in the kitchen and all that. But I was glad he was there helping. That's true.
Well,
he did
great.
not leave it all up to me to do.
That's fantastic.
I know.
We have my wife and mother-in-law and sister-in-law, and they have a couple of aunts. And I'm just trying to think who all brings stuff. Oh, and then we have a really talented baker in the family.
We have one of those,
my wife's
too.
cousin, he can make all kind of cakes and just delightful.
We have one of those, too, and she came
desserts.
empty-handed, come to think of it. Sydney.
Uh-oh. You've been called out, Sydney. Sorry about that.
She didn't bring us. She brought us cupcakes the week before, and they were, oh, my gosh, Mike. She made red velvet cupcakes that were to die for.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then the grandson, he helped decorate them with little candy beads and stuff on top of them. They were so cute. And I almost didn't want to eat one because I was like, oh, they're too cute to eat. Oh my gosh, they were so good.
Well, I've talked
I
about
eat those all the time.
my granddaughter Victoria before going to school. My wife driving her, and I don't know that they're listening this early this morning because it's no school, so they may be out. But maybe they can hear this later. But it was so precious to watch our granddaughter in the kitchen with her. She calls her Nene. Her name's Raynette, so easier to say. And she's able to literally really contribute. She can stand there in front of a mixer and make sure everything stays in its place and remove the bowl at the right time and mix whatever needs to be done. And it's just fun as all get out to watch those two in the kitchen and watch this 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Those life skills.
I think that is so important too to teach them that young because it teaches them a life skill, but it's good bonding. Brain fart. Sydney and Kenzie February, but they do a good job of letting them help in the kitchen, with
Some
the
way.
things that are, because they're 2.5. There's only certain things they can do.
Yeah.
But they're really good to let them help do that kind of stuff. And especially one's a boy and one's a girl. So making sure the boy knows how to do that is important too. I think that's very important.
Well, Bay and I were just talking about those types of classes that he took because my wife taught in that field for many years, and he took in high school and middle school. I was impressed to hear him say that.
Like a home ec type thing?
Yeah, but it was more than that. But yes, like that. It's what home ec eventually evolved into. They called it family and consumer science. So, like I said, it was quite a few more topics than
home
just.
ec.
Well, it was a little more than that, but yes, it's a derivative
They teach
of
them
that.
life skills. They teach them like stuff like how to balance a checkbook and write out a check and things. We learned that stuff in math. The other stuff, the cooking part and the sewing, which I'm not good at, was our home ec, and those were electives. You didn't have to take them, but we were half boy, half girl in those classes. There were a lot of boys. I think the boys took it thinking it was going to be easy, and that really all we were going to be doing is like making cookies and eating a lot.
Right.
No, we actually had to learn stuff. We had a home ec book. We had pop quizzes. We had all the stuff we had to learn, like understand all the measurements and all that stuff.
That's right.
And it was a little more to it than just making cookies.
If you want it to be right, you've got to do the science part of it.
Oh yeah. But it was fun. It was fun. I didn't like sewing. I have to admit, I did not. Me and the sewing machine were a train wreck. Trying to thread the bobber and know how to do all that stuff. I could not do that today to save my life. I'd have to have a whole class on
it's
having
quite
to
a
do
skill.
It. Yeah,
it is.
And people that can do it, oh my gosh, I think it's amazing. I see people that just pull out their sewing machines and create all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I don't, why?
Well, it used to be.
First of all, why?
It used to be when you purchased a garment at a particular store, they would size it to you. Shorten your pants. In my case, almost every time, I had to have my pants shortened a little bit. But that, or adjust something in the jacket or whatever. And some of them will still do it, but they don't do it. It's not included anymore.
No, it's
they
an extra
charge you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, if you know a good seamstress, I'll call them that. I may be using the wrong term, or tailor.
Mm-hmm.
You can really make some good money if you're good at it. Like all these cheerleader uniforms and majorette uniforms. They purchase them because my wife was a sponsor for several years, so I kind of know. And they go way out of town sometimes to find somebody who can handle that.
Yeah, because that is a lost art, really.
That's the phrase I was looking for. I'm glad you said that.
There's not a lot of people. And guess what? There's not a lot. There's not a lot of shoe repair people because, look, I mean, there are times where I love a pair of shoes. They're perfect except for the sole needs a little repair or something.
Yeah.
There's hardly anybody around here that does that because you know why? it costs more to repair it than it does to replace the shoe because the shoes are made in, mass quantity and they're not. And before you could buy
And
a pair of shoes and pick like your bottom. You would have, you want the thicker sole, you want the
kind
thinner
of
sole,
customize
kind of
it for you.
customize it
Yep.
for you.
Yep.
Boots are one of those things. Now, boots, you do want to keep a pair of boots. You do not want to throw those out, especially if you spend $200 on them.
Oh yeah.
Resoling them is the best way to do that. But I don't think that people do it anymore.
Well, Treese, back when I was a much younger man and even a kid, there was a shoe repair shop in Clanton.
Really?
There was, and it was just across the railroad tracks, right next to the Peach Theater.
Did it have an upside down shoe? Because most of them did.
I don't. It probably did. Now,
Upside
I mean,
down
it was
shoe
just a
and it say
little
shoe
tiny,
repair.
little tiny corner, and I wish I remembered the man or family that owned it or ran it, but I don't. But it was right there, right across the railroad tracks, next to the theater. I mean, when we went to the movie the other night, I was walking by. I was telling my wife about it. She was like,
Yeah.
"Really?" And I used a guy down in Montgomery for several years, and then he relocated. He was in a particular spot, and I guess I'll say kind of like Old Town Montgomery, older houses and stuff. But when
Which I love down there too.
I know it's very
It's
beautiful.
awesome.
It is. But anyway, he relocated and I didn't follow him. And I haven't needed him since I retired. I don't really wear those types of shoes much anymore.
Yeah. There was a place in Pell City, and I said, I just need the taps replaced on these shoes. And they were like, okay. I said, how much is that going to be? And she told me $7. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that. I'd bought the shoes. They were like $18 at Cato or something like that.
Yeah.
But they were great shoes, and just the heel on them would wear down. And I said, okay. So I left them there, and I went to pick them up, and there was a guy there that day. And I said, I'm here to pick up my shoes. He said, okay, that's going to be, and it was like some astronomical amount. And I said, no. I said, she told me it was $7. He goes, I don't care what she told you. If you want the shoes, you'll pay the price. If you don't. And I said, well, then you can have them.
God.
And I left them. I left those shoes there. I was like, wow, what a jerk.
Yeah,
and
no kidding.
Mean, I went back, and I was working for a newspaper at the time. And I wanted to write some kind of big article, and my boss was like, let's don't do that, because let's don't do that. And I was like, well, that was a jerky thing to do. He said, I agree. It was a jerky thing to do. And I said, well, now he has a pair of $18 Cato shoes because he was charging me more for the little taps on the bottom than the shoe that I paid. I told him, I said, I paid less than that for the shoes. And he was like, I don't care. If you want the shoes, you'll pay the price. And I was like, well, if I had known prior,
Right, you wouldn't have done it.
I wouldn't have left them there. But even if I had left them there, I would have been prepared to come back and pay the price. But, $7 and 20-something dollars, that's a big difference. And I was like, you can just keep the shoe. I was that mad. I honestly did. I thought when I said that he would back down, and he didn't. So we were at a stalemate. I lost because I lost my shoes that I really loved.
Right.
And that was like the second time I'd had the taps replaced on them, the little
They
heel
were
thing.
obviously very comfortable by
I
then.
loved those shoes. They were the best shoe. Yeah.
Well, I think this guy in Montgomery, I had one pair of shoes that I got resold and rehealed and all that because I hadn't done it in a long time. I hadn't worked in an office environment for a long time. But I weighed the cost about $40 for very comfortable leather shoes I had versus going and spending, $120 for a new pair. And I thought, well, let's go with the 40.
Yeah.
And I still got them, and they're great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it is expensive.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than it used to be.
And I understand the craft behind it now, I really do think he was just being
Yeah, maybe he had a
horse's
bad
tail.
day, maybe he stumped his toe or something.
because I don't think it costs $20 to replace a little tap on the back because you pull it off, you put a new one in, you go bap bap with a little hammer, and you're done. That's all you do.
Well, I think most people
But
would have.
resoling a whole bottom, that's a whole different ball game. You got to pull that thing off. You got to measure it out. You got to match it up perfect. I mean, that's a whole different situation. I can understand that costing a little little money.
I had a pair of shoes that I bought at Sears back in 1985.
Oh, goodness.
And I tell you, for over 30 years, I was able to resole those shoes. I probably did them 5 or 6 times, and then I took them in one time, the last time, and the guy looks at me. This was up in Hoover. There was a place up there. And he looked at them, and he says, "Sir, I'm sorry." He says, "The holes have just disintegrated. I have nothing to sew to anymore." And I forget what brand they were, but I did buy them at Sears, which I'm not even sure exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I know. What a shame. But
and that used to be like the place.
Exactly.
And now it's
man.
nowhere to be found. Mike Baker says that he remembers that shop that you're talking about.
Oh, he does? Yeah, Mike would.
He said they also had one out on Lake Mitchell Road past where Love's is now.
I don't remember that one, but hey, he says it's there. I bet it was.
Yeah, I believe it was too. All right, it's 7:17. Let's thank our morning show sponsors: Chilton Mobile Home Supply, Country Financial Insurance, Central Alabama Wellness, Coca-Cola. Here we go. Ellison over here is just going to pretend because he does not wait. Here we go, Mikey. A 1 and a 2 and a... Oh,
Ooh,
man, that sounded great.
That's the one we should record.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that tastes good.
Play that
also,
back later.
Thank you to our Chilton Chamber of Commerce, Larry Puckett Chevrolet, Putter Up in Pelham, Save More, Old Orchard Amish Furniture, Woods Surfside Marina, and Market 22, which is where Bees Market used to be. Guess what I got from there?
What?
I got 4 of the thickest pork chops I think I've ever seen. Boneless, might I add, pork chops. And they put them in some kind of peppercorn type seasoning. And I also got a Christmas ham that was to die for.
That
it was
sounds
not a
good.
spiral ham, but it was kind of, half of it was already pre-sliced, sort of. So all I had to do was just pull it apart. And it was delicious.
It sounds good.
Absolutely delicious. Man, that thing was good. And those pork chops, I cannot get over. They're always so juicy and good. Fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat and seafood you can get there. Yes.
That's right. Meat 22.
All right. It is 7:18. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got to talk about some football playoffs. Are you up on what's happening in the football playoffs?
There's football playoffs going on?
Means
yes, I know a little bit about it.
Okay, all right. I'm going to have to let you lead that category because I watched a little bit, but not as much as I should have. So y'all stay with us. You're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Teresa and Mike broadcasting live from the Clanton Tractor Studio. We'll be right back. Workout Anytime in Clanton is now open. Your fitness, your schedule. We have top-of-the-line treadmills and weights, but we are more than just a gym. We bring luxury and results to your fitness routine. Relax in our sauna. Recharge with red light therapy. Refresh in our hydro massage beds. Get that glow with unlimited tanning and push your limits with dynamic classes. Need guidance? Our personal trainers are here to help you set your goals, stay motivated, and get real results. This is your space, your time, your transformation. Open 24/7. Workout Anytime, now open in Clanton.
Traditions come and go, but excellent service and compassionate care are benchmarks in any era. That's what Ellison Memorial Funeral Home is committed to providing you, whether through the pre-arrangement process or seeking services at your time of loss. Ellison Memorial offers a noticeable level of care and attention to detail. Others do not. So before making a decision based on yesterday's traditions, experience the Ellison difference when it comes to your loved one's final arrangements. You'll be glad you did. Call us today at 205-280-4600. Ellison Memorial Funeral Home, setting the new standard in local funeral service excellence. We are always here when you need us.
Underage drinking is deemed by many adults to be a rite of passage. Parents who host parties for youth may think they are being protective, but they are actually putting their youth at risk of physical and social consequences. Know the truth. Underage drinking and social hosting is a bad mix. For more information, contact Central Alabama Wellness, 205-651-0077, or visit centralalabamawellness.com. mayhemcommunity.org.
$7:21. You're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Teresa, Mike, and Deanna.
We have another guest.
She decided she had something to say. And another thing, go ahead.
I'm just going to step in and say hi to everyone.
Okay.
Am I in the...
Nope, get right. There
There
we
you
go.
are.
Hi, everyone.
And you can't. Where's your Piper Peach one?
Oh, I just put my...
Oh, okay.
on.
Well, that's why I was going to let you in here so everybody could see the Piper Peach on there. But and another thing, what were you going to add? You don't remember now, you got embarrassed. Hey, live, what can you say? Things
Hey,
happen.
it does happen.
It
You're gonna
does. It
you're gonna
absolutely
turn
does.
on the camera, something could happen.
Mike said he wasn't going to tell me any more personal stories because I always broadcast it.
Takes
so.
advantage of it.
I do. He says, "You like you just can't wait." I said, "I can." I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Good morning, Ricky.
All in good fun,
Ricky
right?
and Mike are two loyal listeners. They always say hello.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So we talked about you had a good Christmas. Now, what do you do for New Year's? I know what we do and what we're planning to do this time, simply because hubby has to work. Hubby has to work tomorrow. He has to work New Year's Day. So,
gosh. Well.
Last year we turned on one of the New Year's Eve shows, specials, to
yeah.
listen to the music and all that stuff. And
Every channel's got one, I think.
it was country, mostly country music. So I don't know what one we were watching. I have no clue. I can't remember who hosted it. And we both fell asleep. I think he was in the recliner and I was on the couch recliner, and we both fell asleep early. I mean, we had probably been asleep an hour and a half or more, and I just happened to wake up like just a couple of minutes before midnight. And I woke him up and I said,
Wake up.
it's just a couple of minutes. And so we stood there sleepy eyed and just, waited. And then the second that it was like, Happy New Year, we gave each other a kiss, turned out the living room lights, and went to bed. And that was how we spent our New Year. We tried to do New Year's Eve, but we just can't hang. And I know for a fact we won't this year because he has to work. So do y'all do anything? Do y'all have family over, friends over? What do y'all do? Anything?
We haven't done a whole lot of that, but we will get together on New Year's Day as a family, and it's a tradition to have greens and what is the other peas? I guess black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas.
I forget which ones. I guess the green is the
money,
the finances, right, and then
the peas are luck or some prosperity,
something like that.
something, I don't know. And then you got to have some form of pork.
That's right. Well, we usually do. We have a ham most of the time, so we'll probably do that, and it'll be about the same group that we have for Christmas. But as far as my wife and I, it's been an evolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've evolved to this point where we might make it to midnight. We might just watch, on the East Coast or something and celebrate a little early.
A little early, yeah.
That way, I get that extra hour. But at the same time,
somewhere.
yeah, exactly. But how about you guys? I mean, what you gonna do this year? You said your husband's working.
Yeah,
so
he's working. So New Year's
have
Day,
to work around
I'll
that.
still cook. I'm still gonna do the peas and the greens and the cornbread and stuff for New Year's Day. But he won't get home till 4 or 5 New Year's Day.
Yeah,
I'll probably watch some football. It'll be on.
that's right. All day.
Football all day. Speaking of football, we have the SEC playoffs going on right now.
Well, it's the NCAA.
I'm
playoffs.
sorry.
Well, that's all right.
And everybody's playing right now to see who goes to the big national championship.
Right.
What are your thoughts? So I watched a little bit. I watched Georgia Tech get beat the last little bit by
Brigham Young.
Yep.
BYU.
Which, my stepdad, he is a huge Yellow Jackets fan.
Oh, really?
And this is one of their the last 2 years they've done pretty good, and this year they really did good.
They
and
have.
I was so hoping that they would go a little further. I knew it would make him happy. But I do feel like there are some teams that shouldn't be in the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there. That we've got who we've got. But who do you think the final two are going to be, based off what you're seeing right now as far as playing? And I mean, I don't necessarily know that it's going to be Alabama or Georgia, but it could be. But who are your realistic, maybe top four that you think are going to play for the finals?
Well, there are 8 games.
Okay.
8 teams left. So it's the quarterfinals that are going to be played on New Year's Day. And the first game, well, actually, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but one of the games is Alabama versus Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alabama was a 9 or 10 seed. They seeded 12 teams for the playoffs, and we talked last week about 2 of them that probably shouldn't have been in there. That was Tulane and James Madison University. But the first game is Alabama playing Indiana. The Hoosiers are number 1. They're 13-0, I guess. So they've won every game.
Which is wild to me.
They've won every game in the Big Ten that they played. But if you look at the Big Ten, and you know, we in the SEC, we're very proud of our football programs. Now, the Big Ten has won the national championship the last 2 years, but the last, I mean, the 10. There were 9 of them were SEC teams that had won before that. So
I just don't feel
been
like,
dominant.
I don't feel like the Big Ten that their teams are as strong.
Well, that's what I was trying to get to. Exactly.
Other.
The conference overall strength of the conference is probably not as strong as the SEC. Although our bowl teams are, you know, I don't think we've won a bowl game yet. Our conference, we have won a couple of playoff games. But anyway, first you've got Alabama and Indiana. So I think Indiana, I mean, they have their quarterback won the Heisman Trophy. Fernando Mendoza, I believe his name is, and he's had a tremendous season. They've had a great season. They did beat Ohio State. They did beat Penn State.
Yeah.
Even though Penn State was down a little bit this year, typically they're in the top, 10. But I don't know. You're going against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I'm an Auburn fan. I think anybody that knows me knows that. I went to Auburn. But you got to take your hat off and give the respect and love to that team because
that's true.
They have been something to watch. And
that's true.
And I could go into it, but about the Iron Bowl and how close we've been to winning some games, but we didn't win them.
That's right.
They
Close
won them.
Doesn't count.
No, in fact, just ask Coach Harsin and Coach Freeze, how that worked out for them. If they can't win, they're not going to be there.
Yep.
So I say all that to say that the Tide is, frankly, in my mind, maybe besides Georgia, they're the team to beat because they have experience. Now, they are with a second-year coach, but let's face it, he's managed to weather the storm this season where he lost a couple of games that Bama fans don't like to lose any games.
No, right.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
They lost 2 games, and they've got a losing season as far as
they're
concerned.
disappointed, especially if one of them is to Auburn, which hadn't happened in a few years. But you look at it and you go, they're like a 6-point favorite in this game, Indiana. I mean, they have the top quarterback, they have a great defense, they have all of this, but they don't have that intangible. And Alabama has got that edge over practically every team in the field.
Right.
So it would not shock me at all if Alabama not only won the game, that they dominated the game. Because you take a team like Indiana, they've never been here, Treese. They've never been ranked number 1.
Right.
The last time they won their conference title was, I think, like 1966. So, I mean,
has that been that long?
almost 60 years
I know
and they
that
have
I
not
haven't-
won a title till this season.
I know that in all my years of watching football, I don't remember Indiana ever being a top team at all.
No, that's exactly right, and it's really because they've gotten this coach Kirk Signetti. I forget where he came from to Indiana, but he's been in Indiana now probably 4 or 5 years, maybe a little more, and it's just like turning a giant ship. It takes a while, but eventually, once you get it going in the right direction, you got a
gone.
juggernaut. And so, I mean, a lot of teams are trying to convince him to
Come to
become their
direction.
coach.
Yeah.
But Indiana signed him to a big contract. You know, these days the money is just out. It's unbelievable.
Well, so why do you?
So he's there.
I did notice
And
that
they're doing
when
well.
Ole Miss, not Ole Miss, LSU played the other day, they did not have Lane Kiffin coaching the team yet. So
Right.
is it because he didn't immediately become their head coach that he doesn't go into effect until after all the games are done? But they let the interim coach keep coaching. So I was wondering about that. Why is that? Do you know why they would do that?
Well, typically you don't let the new coach in the bowl game.
Oh, okay.
You let that's why teams always name an interim coach, because it's a little more continuity there than you would if you brought in an entire
That's
new
totally
staff.
yeah.
I mean, there would be an impossible task to install everything you need to in 4 weeks, because it's
Right.
about 3 to 4 weeks about all teams have to prepare for a game, for a bowl game or a
Yeah.
playoff game.
Not long at all.
But
really.
so the thing that I heard about Lane Kiffin was that he actually left the game before it was over. In other words, he didn't stick around, even though they lost. LSU lost to Houston, I think it was, and it was a good game. I believe I'm correct that they played Houston and lost, but he left the game. He didn't even. I would have expected him to go down in that locker room
and give him at least a pep talk.
and at least
of,
let him
hey,
see him and be there to talk to him. Or
He did not, huh?
he didn't do it. So, but this is a different era. I realize
Maybe he just didn't
my
want to step
era
on
is
the other
little
coach's
fading.
toes, but he shouldn't have left.
Yeah, I
At
don't
least
think it
that's
was a
a
good
bad
move.
look
It
to
is a
me.
bad look, but so Alabama's playing Indiana. I would say Alabama has a very good chance to win that game, and I would pick Alabama. I'm picking Alabama to win that game. Georgia has a game versus Ole Miss, and so they've set it up. There's 3 teams from the SEC left, and I think 3 from the Big Ten.
Yeah, Mike just said Miami and Ohio State playing the Cotton Bowl in New Year's Eve. I remember when Auburn would go to the Cotton Bowl or the Sugar Bowl, and we'd be ecstatic.
Yep.
And now
Yep.
it's like, who cares?
Well, that's how they do the playoffs now. They Alabama and Indiana are playing in the Rose Bowl, which is out in California. Now, actually, I read where rain is predicted for that game, and one of the reasons they always wanted to play in that environment, because it rarely rains
Rarely
out there.
rains.
So it's like, what are they? How's that going to affect the game?
Right. Yeah.
I think that's another advantage to Alabama, but Alabama has to be able to run the ball. They haven't shown that
Well, I'll
very
tell you
much.
what else they have to do. They have to protect their quarterback because he was getting sacked a good bit. And that shouldn't happen. You shouldn't get 1 or 2, I'll give that, but you shouldn't get sacked more than twice in a football game. That if you're getting sacked, then there is some miscommunication, and your guys are not where they need to be.
Oh yeah, well that would be yes. That's a very true statement. As Mike said, you've got Miami playing against Ohio State, and what a game that should be. The Cotton Bowl was played in Dallas, or actually Arlington, I think it is. I don't know if you've ever seen that complex out in Arlington, Texas, where the Rangers play baseball, and across the street
If I have, I didn't pay attention.
the Cowboys
to be
play
honest.
football. It's really quite a sight. It's
bet.
Texas. It's really big out there.
Everything's bigger and
But
darker.
I've always thought that the Jerry, what do they call it, the Jerry Dome or whatever, the owner's Jerry Jones of the
Yeah.
Cowboys, that their stadium looks like a giant hermit crab. But anyway, that game, Ohio State, I don't know. I'm not sold on Miami. I think Miami's one of those teams that, but they were like the last team to get in of the playoffs. So they're not, they have a good record. They won their game last week. They beat Texas A&M at A&M.
Which is, I guess I expected A&M to do a lot more
Right.
than they've done.
Well, they disappointed, but when you look at their season, you see that they beat the teams they were supposed to beat, but they didn't beat the team that was better than them.
Right.
During the regular season, I mean. And so they looked like they were going to cruise to their first SEC championship game since they've joined the conference, but they lost one game, and Alabama happily stepped in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zoomed them on over.
But that game with
Scooch it.
Miami, I would say Ohio State's got the advantage there. They again a lot of experience. Miami, the great teams in the 80s and 90s, but they fell off for a long time and just now trying to get back to where they're a factor.
Yeah, I think it's going to
But
be.
Ohio State's been there, so I think I would pick them.
I would think Ohio State is going to be one, and then it's going to be down to either Georgia or Alabama. So that's who's going to play for the national
Well-
championship. I think I could be completely wrong, but that's just my gut.
We were
on
talking
it.
about Georgia and Ole Miss. They are playing in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. I guess I don't know what it's called now. I'll call it the Superdome. That's all I always knew it
That's
as.
all I know.
It's the Chevrolet.
AT&T Stadium. Which one is that?
That
the
is,
one?
I think that's the one
in
in
Texas?
yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Right.
Mike said Jerry World.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I call it.
Jerry World.
Because he was real. I mean, he may own the thing. I don't even know, but
Oh, he's got a lot of money.
yeah, he does. He probably owns
But
it.
he's did he step down from the Cowboys or something? What did he do recently?
I didn't hear that. But he is getting pretty. He's getting a little. He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
So but I think he has one or two children in the business with him.
Mhm.
So what typically happens is Dad will hand it off, but he'll still carry a big stick
Oh yeah.
because he's been a force.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure that they run it right.
Bless their hearts, they haven't won a Super Bowl since he's been the owner, though. He wants one so badly. They haven't been able to get it. And the last game, Trees, well, not the last game. We talked about Georgia and Ole Miss. I think Georgia's got the advantage there. They played already this year, and they beat Ole Miss. You have to basically outscore Ole Miss because they have a tremendous offense, or have had. That was under Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
But they hired their defensive coordinator, a former, I think it was DC at Alabama, as their head coach. Pete Golding, I believe his name is. And so that's a little bit, because I thought they would fall apart without Coach Kiffin. But by promoting someone from within the current staff they had,
Yeah.
it kind of kept the team together.
Exactly.
And so, and they
There may be some shifting.
They had
after this
they had
season.
Georgia beaten in the third quarter. I mean, it looked like Ole Miss was going to win earlier this season, but you got to play that fourth quarter, and Georgia knows it as good or better than anybody.
They would beat Tennessee in overtime either in the fourth quarter or overtime.
They beat 'em in
every
overtime this year, I
single
think it
year,
was.
and they did it again this
Yep.
year. I was like, you gotta
Yep.
be kidding me.
So I would give Georgia the advantage there, and then the last game has a team in it that hasn't been a factor for a long time, and that is Texas Tech University. They won the
That's
Big
true,
12,
too.
and they're playing
think about them.
Oregon, who is a very dangerous team.
Yeah.
Now, Oregon, last week they gave up 35 points, I think it was, or 34 to James Madison. So that doesn't look very good for them. But people forget they were ahead by 30 at halftime.
Yeah.
So, you come out in the second half, and sometimes they just don't have that same desire or drive when you're ahead by 30.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we just want to hold on. We want to get this game over with.
Yeah.
And sometimes the other team is playing, lights out.
Yeah.
And obviously, James Madison was pretty good. They only lost one game all year, but that was one of those teams we talked about that probably shouldn't be there. But Oregon did not make the championship game of the Big Ten. Indiana beat them at Oregon this year. So Indiana has 2 top 5 wins, but they just don't have the power in that conference that the SEC does. So it's thought that a team like Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, they play 2 or 3 very tough games every year, but then the other 8 or 9 or should be easy wins for them, and they usually are. I mean, it's pretty rare for them to lose. But Texas Tech has just got a tremendous offense as well, and they beat BYU in their conference championship. They beat BYU twice. It's the only 2 losses for BYU this year. So they got a pretty good club. But again, I'm going to go with the experience. I'm going to say Oregon, the Ducks, will probably win that game.
Okay.
So that would leave you with Oregon and Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia. I believe the way
That's about right. That's in my head. That's kind of how I saw that going.
well,
So we'll see.
it's all set up where it would be Big Ten versus Big Ten and SEC versus ACC in the Final Four. in the semifinals, and then so obviously could have. You're going to have an SEC Big Ten matchup for the championship, and if I had to pick, I would probably give the advantage to the Georgia Bulldogs. As much as that hurts me, they beat Auburn 7, 8, 9 years in a row. Just something we just. It's
Yeah.
They're living rent free in my head, as they say, right? Because it's like,
Yes.
we haven't really. This year was really close, one of the closest games we had with them, and we didn't take it.
Okay. Mike says James Madison is where Kurt Signetti came from.
Okay, so well, how about that?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mike. So that they obviously have a very good program, and like I said, he's been at Indiana, I think, 3 or 4 years, and he's just he's really turned them around, and he's coach of the year, and deservedly so.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how he does when he faces a top quality SEC team.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to get to some headlines. Bane's not in here to do a break, so we're just going to go ahead and move on to another story. This happened in Oklahoma. A woman was killed by a stray bullet on Christmas Day. Her neighbor got a gun for Christmas, was shooting it, just boom, boom, boom. And there was no kind of barrier. There was no nothing, no woods, no nothing. And she was struck by the bullet, and it killed her. And he has now been arrested and charged
Manslaughter.
with manslaughter. I mean, and it's such a sad thing, but that is irresponsible to me. You get a gun for Christmas. I know you're excited. I know, grown men, they get excited over guns and things like that. But he was firing it in his backyard, and somehow it was able to strike her.
Well, it doesn't say where in Stevens County, Oklahoma it is, but Stevens County, I looked it up. It's just a little bit southwest, of Oklahoma City. But so I'm figuring it's a smaller town.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, this is just where people who purchase guns, they have to know how to handle them. They have to be trained. They have to be classes. Our sheriff's department and probably the city of Clanton. I don't know about the city of Clanton, but the sheriff's department, they offer gun training, to our citizens. If anybody needs it or
Free.
wants it. As I
Here's the
understand it,
thing.
it is.
He was in his backyard shooting. She was on her front porch with family when it happened.
That's just
The family said they heard multiple gunshots and she just collapsed. That is so sad on Christmas Day. And it was not something that was intentional, so I feel bad for both of them. But, dumb is dumb.
Yeah, that's he's going to pay for that mistake.
Yeah, unfortunately. He will probably do some serious jail time on that just because of the negligence part.
Oh, yeah. That's just a
Because
criminal.
you got to use your brain when you're not talking about a cap gun
Or a BB gun.
or a BB gun
Or a pellet gun even.
You're talking about a gun with an actual bullet. It doesn't say.
No,
what
it doesn't
kind of
identify it.
gun.
Just says gunshot. So, but
I mean, here
it's just so sad when you hear.
it is because he didn't mean to, and he was probably devastated. But
You think
you
you
know,
would know better,
like, hey,
and how far they
bonehead.
can travel. I mean, they can travel, quarter of a mile.
yeah,
That's a long way in a neighborhood.
it is. I mean, look, if you wanted to shoot it that bad, you should have gone to the woods
range.
somewhere. I'm sure you could have waited until the next day and gone to a gun range and shot it all you wanted to.
Yep.
It's kind of like out here. We have a small gun range out here. It's called Pop's Armory. And you can go out there and shoot. He's got a little setup. He's got a little small place. It's got some guns and other
Right.
things you need. And but you can go out and you can just a few dollars. You can go out there and shoot all you want to.
Well,
And I don't understand why he just had to do it right then.
I'm sure he's questioning his
Oh,
judgment.
that's true. He probably is.
But-
Here I am kicking a man while he's down.
Well,
but I mean, it is.
But no,
kinda,
it's but Treese, this is not it's not simple negligence. It's gross negligence.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a big
agree.
difference. That's something that this guy. I mean, as excited as he was, or whatever it was that compelled him to do this. I mean, how could you not think about someone else's safety? And now you've taken this person's life.
Yeah.
And but like I said, he's going to pay for it, and that's not going to bring this person back. Won't bring much comfort to that family, I don't imagine. But I just think it's so sad. We live, I think I've told you before, on the northern side, northern end boundary of Jemison.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, part of our property is not in the city limits. And we have a beautiful little valley that you can go and you can set yourself up, nice little place to shoot if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do that very often. I'm just never been a big hunter. I own a couple of guns, but I'm not a hunter. I mean, I don't know the last time I shot them,
Mm-hmm.
but I have them
Yeah.
in case I guess I need them. But at the same time, you have to, like I said, I've had my dad and my brother and other friends and family offer tips of how to handle firearms because I'm not that familiar with them.
Right.
But I certainly know that they will go a very long way and
Yes.
can kill somebody from a very long distance. And
Right.
I don't know how, like you said, I don't know how far this was, but he was in the backyard, like you said. She was on the front porch. So as far as we know,
Yeah.
they were just right across from each other.
I lived in Odenville. We lived up on the mountain, surrounded by nothing but trees and stuff. But
Yeah.
we had people that lived down below us on the mountain, and they were out one day shooting guns, and they were shooting up what they thought was the woods. Unfortunately, our house was a direct line to where they were shooting. They shot our house up. And my kids had just been outside when that first bullet came whizzing through. It came through my door, and another one came through the house and went into the ceiling. And the sad part is it was family that did it. They were, mortified. And we'll pay for it, we're sorry. Guess what? They never did.
They never did.
And we didn't file a report or do
Right,
an
or
incident
force
because
them
it
to.
was family, but it never got fixed.
Hmm.
To this day, I don't know. I don't live there anymore, but I assume it is still not fixed.
You know, I bring up a lot that I used to be a claims adjuster.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Oh.
these stories, when we're talking about stuff, it just when you just mentioned someone basically shooting up your house, I've had claims. I can remember at least a handful where people would have a leak in their roof, and they're like, "We don't know what it could be," da 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 da. And I get up on the roof and I'll inspect it, and I find bullet holes. Somebody's shooting up in the air or shooting at it, probably usually shooting up in the air, and it comes down and it'll go right through your roof.
What?
Yeah. And of course, if there's a hole in the roof, the water can get through it and will get through it.
Yeah.
So that would happen. That's happened more than once, which was a covered loss, but typically to repair it was
Well,
less than someone's deductible. So it
Let
wasn't
me ask this
usually a
question.
claim.
One time we had a leak and we couldn't figure out what was causing it. We were
Right.
like, we don't know
Right.
where this leak is coming from. We don't know if it's something that's covered or not. They came out and looked at it and said, well, this is what it is, and it's not a covered claim. So they never paid out any money or anything like that. But it stayed on our homeowner insurance as if we had a claim. Why did that happen?
Well, insurance is just a matter of risk, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of ways to measure risk. One of the ways is claims frequency. Okay, how often do you file a claim? What kind of claim did you file? How
Yeah.
often did you file claims? That kind of thing. And so it's all just part of the mix. Just information they keep. It's not necessarily going to count against you. In fact, it can work in your favor if you have fewer claims. I don't know what time frame you're talking about. How long ago this was?
Oh, this
and-
is probably 15 years ago
okay,
or longer.
and it's still there. You think?
Maybe not now, but
Okay.
it stayed on there for a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah. And do you still use the same carrier, homeowners
Mm-mm.
carrier? Okay. Well,
I'm
then
separated from that whole situation now. So
there are national reporting agencies that the insurance companies utilize to give basic information. They won't give your name or your address or anything. They'll just say, "Well, this was a water damage claim." Blah blah. Blah. But an insurance policy is just nothing more than a contract, a legal contract, and it says what the insurance company will pay and what they won't pay, what your duties are, what their duties are, and stuff like that. But there are exclusions, even though you might have the very best, deluxe or whatever name they might put on, give their policy, but you have something like that, it's still going to have some exclusions. So I'm trying to remember what types of water damage were excluded. Typically, you would look at something that was a long-term thing, like if you had, let me think, just a spot on your roof and you never fixed it, and it just every time it rained, you got a little more damage, a little more damage, a little more damage, and you neglected. Now, I not know that you did anything. I'm not saying that's your situation, but I'm just giving you a situation. And you neglected to maintain your home. See, that's another thing that they look at, the type of claim you have, because, if you're someone who doesn't take care of their property, then do I really want to, write $300,000 worth of coverage on your home? Because, gosh, you could be careless in the kitchen and boom, a fire, and I got to pay out $300,000 if I was the insurance company. But another thing that's often, I was just coming to me, often excluded would be the type of water damage from like a flooding event. So if something were to come in through the bottom of your walls, on your floors.
Flood insurance.
Right.
And even that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be covered.
Most of us don't have flood insurance because there's very few flood zones in the state. There are some, of course, but I live on a hill too, just like you were describing Odenville, where you grew up on a hill. So we could get flooding, but boy, it would have to really come a gully washer for that to happen.
There were some places in Odenville that were flood areas, and every time it rained, these people, their whole yard and up into their front door would flood. And don't let it rain for a couple of days in a row, and it was just awful. And I always felt bad for those people. I can't imagine the claims that they had. They were in that flood area for the whole time I lived there. It was like I can think of at least 8 times it flooded bad.
I was sent in a couple of times down in I believe it's Coffee County, is Elba, Alabama. A lot of the locals say Elby, like LB or ELBE. But they had the P River. The Army had the Army Corps of Engineers had built basically dikes around on the P River, PEA River. So anyway. They had built dikes, but the dikes had failed in some heavy events and just flooded that poor town more than once. In fact, it happened twice in my career before they really went back and made some major changes to their levees, I guess. They're really called levees. I call them dikes. But when I say the word dike, I think of somebody with their thumb stuck in the hole,
Yeah.
Okay, I've got these two, but plugged. But anyway, I was down there, and mostly I was going by people's houses and verifying that they got flood damage, and the homeowners didn't pay it. So, I wanted to be, the company wanted us, Alpha is who I worked for back then. They wanted me to be face-to-face with the people, wanted us. There was several adjusters that went and just look at the homeowner and say, I'm sorry, this loss is not covered by your policy. That personal, even though you had to give them bad news, you didn't just do it over the phone or write them a letter, which is kind of impersonal at times.
Yeah, it can be,
It can
especially
be.
when you're thinking thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage, and these people are going to have to figure out how to fix it on their own.
That's right, exactly. Well, that's where FEMA has come in the past and helped people with, no interest, low interest loans, that kind of thing. Some grants, but and that's really what you want to see our tax dollars at work, not running fake daycares and all these things that's going on in Minnesota.
What in the world is that?
I don't know how that just came by my mind, but you said it wasn't covered. They had to get paid somewhere.
Right, and this guy, he went in.
I saw that.
And he was like he was trying to get insurance rates. And he was like, there was like 10 different insurance companies in this building along with a daycare. And he's like, I want to get insurance rates. And they ran him out of there. He asked, he said, I'm coming to get some rates. I want to, compare. And the receptionist freaked out, called somebody, and they ran him out, called the cops on him.
Opened the door about that far to talk to him, basically, and then slammed it.
The daycare did give them rates. Now, I don't know that there were any kids in that daycare, but they did give them the rates. But
everything that I saw had no kids in these daycares that were getting all this state and I assume federal monies. to do things.
Surely
and
to goodness, before he came along, somebody knew what was happening.
well, if they
How
didn't,
does that go on for that long and nobody know?
well, there is the Attorney General in Minnesota is a gentleman named Keith Ellison. It's not no relation as far as I know to me, but they have him on audio talking to a group of Somali refugees, and because they're the ones that are running all these literally fake daycares. I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, the pictures that you could see on these videos showed what you would think would be in a typical daycare with the murals and all the fun stuff, the bright colors. No children, and then they had this. But Mr. Ellison was, our Attorney General Ellison was on tape or I say on tape, the guy him recorded as saying something like, I'm glad y'all are getting this money and you're able to help your communities. Said, I hope you'll consider giving some of it back to my campaign. So it was just simply, I'll give you this money if you give me some of it back, is what it looks like on the surface.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, we are talking, they're saying it'd be the largest fraud case in the history of the United States.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking billions of dollars. I mean, let me help everyone remember that $1 billion is 1,000 million dollars. I mean, that's a whole bunch of money. And who did that come from? John and Joan taxpayer. That's us. That's where that money comes from. And so they're stealing our money. Now, I don't live in Minnesota. You don't commute every day, do you? No, I didn't think
Not
so.
from Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. But
From Calera, Alabama.
gosh, that is just so much money that is being
It is.
taken, just stolen. And but the good news is that I forget the gentleman's name that did all these videos that you and I were just talking
I
about.
can't remember his name though.
We can look it up. Matt something, I think. But
They were running him out of there, and he was like, "I didn't do anything wrong. All I did was come in here and ask for rates." And he goes, "I understand that, but they're feeling threatened. Therefore, I have to ask you to leave." And even the cop knew,
that was a scam.
that it was a scam. But he's a cop. What is he gonna do? He can raise the alarm, but he can't do anything. That's a civil matter.
Well, that's a great term you use, Treese, because raising the alarm, raising awareness is what this young man has done.
Mm-hmm.
And he does look like a young man. I would say maybe 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
And all he did was look up on state of Minnesota website to see where these monies were going to. And he just went to these locations to see what kind of daycare were there. Because literally there was a daycare right here, and right across the hallway there was another daycare right down the hallway from this same building was another daycare. They were all run by Somalis, and none of them had any children. In the middle of the day where you would expect them to have children. Because it's daycare, it's not school, it's not a public school. So, parents are working, so they have to have somewhere to take their children. And they advertise, how many hundreds of children that they help and feed and all this stuff, and they haven't done any of it. I mean, just a complete scam. And I don't know. That's where Kamala Harris's running mate came from. Tim Walz with a Z is the governor there. And of course, he is now feigning complete ignorance. Like, oh, I had no idea any of this was going on, even though, it's pretty much a known thing that like Attorney General Ellison, they are really all in on it.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully, President
that
Trump
House of Cards
and
will
Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's they're into it now. I mean, there's no going back now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they're going to find out what happened, but we'll see what they can do about it, because you can bet that money has not been put in a sack. See, the Somalis were taking that money. They alleged that they were taking that money and sending a bunch of it back home to this terrorist organization, El Shabaab or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But they're doing that and taking that money back. And it's just like we're funding terrorists against us. The Somali pirates there in the I forget, the Suez Canal area, right over there in the Indian Ocean. They're pirates, and they seize any ship they can get. a holdover. At least they used to. I think threat President Trump has put on them has made them think twice about doing it. But they're still doing it.
All right, it is 8:01. While we're not going to actually take a break, I am going to thank some morning show sponsors. Thank you to Chilton Mobile Home Supply, Country Financial Insurance, Central Alabama Wellness, Coca-Cola, Chilton Chamber of Commerce, Larry Puckett Chevrolet, Putter Up, Save More, Old Orchard Amish Furniture, Woods Surfside Marina, and Market 22. So they are the ones that make our morning show possible. And also, we're the Clayton Tractor Studio as well. We broadcast live from the Clayton Tractor Studio Monday through Friday.
You're here every day.
Every day. Well, except for during the holidays.
Well, yeah.
But look, after
everybody understands that, I think.
So we'll have a show tomorrow, a New Year's Eve show. But we will not be here Thursday or Friday. But after that, no more.
Full steam ahead.
No more vacation days. Morning Mayhem will be every single day, and until I don't know the next holiday, which is Memorial Day. I guess.
I'd have to get out my calendar, but yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, Memorial Day,
It's
then
in May.
4th of July, so that'll be a minute.
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
we on Good Friday we're still here. We're still reporting and.
Reporting the
about
good
stuff.
news on Good Friday.
Yeah, I don't have it. Just about everything on our thing today is negative. Although yesterday we did have some good stuff.
Well, we talked about the football playoffs.
We did.
I guarantee you a lot of folks out there listening, even the ladies are excited about the football playoffs. Because there's a lot of Bama fans out there, are really hopeful that they get another championship
Lord.
this year.
I will say, one thing that irks me is that when I go to find an Auburn shirt or, something, a sweatshirt or a sweater in Auburn colors, none of the designs that they have are nearly as cute as what the Alabama ones are.
I should take a picture.
And it really aggravates me. I'm like, why can't Auburn people come up with cute stuff like that? It would be just as cute in orange and blue.
Well, I think they can, and they do. You just got to be at the right place.
I guess.
In the right city, because a lot of, this is
Probably gotta
heavy
be down.
Alabama country. You can go to, some department stores around here and take a picture, and you'll see 8 shirts for Bama and 2 for Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, that's almost about the right ratio, although I think it's more like 2/3 to 1/3 as far as fans.
You get closer down towards Auburn, though, even around Columbus, Georgia, they're going to have a lot of
That's
Auburn
right.
stuff.
They
because
do.
They're kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away. So maybe you're right. I'm just in the wrong place.
I think if you went to Montgomery
stuff.
or Columbus, like you said, even Prattville, you'll see quite a
lot
bit
more
more.
Auburn stuff.
Yep, you would. A lot more, choices and selection.
Have you ever heard of Holiday Heart?
Holiday Heart, I have not.
Holiday Heart. Do you know what it is?
I don't.
It is a type of heart failure during the holidays, caused by stress after the year comes to an end. The last week of December has the highest number of heart disease related deaths, according to the American Heart Association. Is that not wild? That one time of the year has the most at any other time. It says it's called the holiday heart syndrome. It can be triggered by stress and overindulgence during the holiday season. New Year's Day has the 3rd most cardiac deaths in the country, only behind Christmas Day and the day after Christmas.
Gosh.
Is that not wild?
Relax, people.
I have
Take it way too
never
serious.
Heard of this stuff? Holiday heart syndrome causes heart palpitations, shortness of breath, and chest pressure, and it can last 24 to 48 hours.
Well, I don't know. I think you said you and your husband, Christmas, that you agree to minimize the gifts that you give each other and spend your resources on your family, right?
Yep.
Well, we've been doing that ourselves for a while. But I could see that if you were had that pressure that you needed to make sure everybody got everything they wanted, which is, there's a lot of people think that way. You could really
because
stress. But I think of overindulging, don't you? Is overindulging maybe food and drink?
Yeah, for
okay.
sure.
That's what I would think.
Yeah. And maybe overindulgence of the use of your credit card, knowing full well that you're going to
Yeah,
have
that-
to pay that stuff back.
That'd be that stress factor they were
maxing
talking
those,
about.
You know, because a lot
Right.
of people have like $5,000 limits on their cards, and they max it out buying all these gifts. You know, here's the thing. Even though I cut way back on what I gave my kids this year, you figure he's got 4 kids, I've got 3. We spend at least $100 thereabouts, between the 50 and 100. So you got that whack. Then you've got the grandkids. He's got 4 grandkids, and I've got 1. So that's 5 grandkids that you got. So you're already $1,000 in, and you haven't even bought food and stuff and
Yeah, that's
extra
true.
decorations and
Right.
just things like that. So you can be, if you're not on a budget like we were, you can spend thousands of dollars at Christmas time easy, so easy. Going out to eat, holiday parties,
Oh
buying
yeah.
stuff to make this and stuff to make that. I mean, the money flies out before you even realize it. It's gone. I mean, and then you look back and
Certainly
go, hey,
can.
I had this much money in my checking account or on my card, and why do I not have it now? So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Holidays are definitely a stressor, and it shouldn't be. It should not be that way, which is why next year I told the kids I may do them a box with just some things in it. The grandkids will get the gifts, and the adults, I may not. My kids will be devastated if I didn't do a box for them. But I mean, I said maybe get both families of kids together, maybe the weekend before Christmas. So, like, let's say Christmas is next year. It'll be on a Friday. So maybe the weekend before, get together, do like a white elephant Christmas, have some finger foods, and then that's it.
Well,
Don't do a whole lot, because I don't want people stressed out. I want it to be able to enjoy it. And I do tend to stress out about making sure that everybody has the right amount of gifts and I've spent the right amount of money on everybody. That's who I am.
well, you mentioned one of your grandkids. I think it was that you were making sure last week about making sure that you don't actually keep up like 50 or exactly 70, but you just kind of weigh it, and you say, well, he or she, I forget who it was, needed a little bit more, so you went and got
It
a
was
couple
for
of
my
things.
daughter.
Okay, it was your
My
daughter. All right,
middle
I'm sorry, I didn't remember exactly, but
I realized that everybody else had that extra gift but her, and I was like, oh, crap. Now I got to go
Yeah.
out. And then I wanted to find something that I knew she'd love, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, so I used a backup. It turned out she loved the backup, so I was in the clear. But
it
I didn't
truly is the
spend that
thought that
much.
counts, Treese.
I didn't spend that. I promise I didn't spend that much on the kids. I mean,
That's what I said. If you
less than $100
if you
on
spend
each
enough
kid.
time shopping and really looking for that one item, like you were just saying, you were just describing, I think the recipient feels that love. You know what I mean? They were like, wow, where did you find this?
Mhm.
I mean, isn't that the kind of gift you just love to open up sometimes the unique
Yeah.
thing that's not, flying off the shelf, but you had to move something around to find it. There it was.
Yeah.
So that sounds like what you did, and
And
I'm
Taylor,
sure she was appreciative of it.
Taylor mentioned something too about thrift giving, and I thought maybe we'll do that. Maybe it has to be something that you bought either at a consignment shop or a thrift store that you didn't spend a whole lot of money. Maybe it looks brand new, but you got it for pennies on the dollar or something. Like Baden went and got some stuff from a thrift store the other day, and it looks brand spanking new.
Yeah.
And I have found stuff with the tag still on it,
Oh, I'm sure. Right.
My daughter-in-law, I gave her a Drew Barrymore big metal iron pot, and it looked like it brand new. The bottom had just a little bit of, maybe you could tell it had been used once or twice. And I told her, I said, now look, before you open this, I want you to know this is a thrift gift. But I found it, and I knew that she was getting some Drew Barrymore stuff for Christmas, and I wanted to add to that, and I was like, this looks brand new, until I asked, I was like, do you think Megan would like this? And I was told she'll love it, so I went ahead and got it. And I think that we should, and I think it was not much at all. I got it off Marketplace. So I think next year that's what we're going to do. If we do, you each get one gift, and if you want to do it that way, and it has to be a thrift gift. And play White Santa or White Elephant or Dirty Santa or whatever you call with it.
Yeah, Dirty Elephant. I don't know.
I don't know. Something. Dirty Elephant, White Santa, who cares?
Everybody contributes a gift, right? Into the center of the room and pick numbers and start that way, right? Exactly. Isn't that how y'all do it?
We were talking about that holiday heart. Mike said, dang, let's go back to talking about football. I know,
yeah.
right?
Well, the heart thing, I mean, that's just, I don't know how to say it.
It is part of it, and people get the blues real bad.
Well, just remember what the season is about, right?
Exactly. You're supposed to.
The peace that's there, that's what you hope everyone
honestly,
takes from this.
Because we have turned Christmas into such a commercialized holiday, that peace is not there anymore like it's supposed to be, unfortunately.
Well, it's not, but I'm still shooting for it, and that's what I pray and hope for everyone out there is that they can find that same peace, so that they're not become a statistic, where somebody dies because, I felt pressure to make sure that Junior had, I don't know, the best softball, baseball bat, or something. I don't know. But that's just what I hope. And it's a work in progress. We're all work in progress, right? And so, you really want to wish that people could remember what the season was about, what it really was. And that would be a whole heck of a lot less stressful.
We stress ourselves out with the stuff that we do.
Yeah, this is definitely self-inflicted.
What I hate is that, and I get to feeling it too when New Year's is over and I have to bring down the lights and the decorations and all that. I feel a little sad, a little down. I wouldn't say I get depressed exactly, but I do just feel like, because I spend all, Thanksgiving, November building up to Thanksgiving and then getting my Christmas stuff out, and then all Christmas time, and you go through the first of the year, and then after that you've got February, which
building up to the crescendo, right, or the end of the year, and then poof, that's done. It's done. What are you what a person, Treese, that likes to make New Year's resolutions?
Oh heck no, I break them every time. I have never stuck to a single resolution.
Well,
ever.
I think that always contributed to how people feel, because they feel like a failure. They haven't been able to do this or that or whatever their resolutions were or are. And I'm not an advocate one way or the other, but I don't do them either. I would start to think about the stuff, and I'd be like, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I can't. Whatever it is, but it's. That peace is not just something that we should be looking for or striving for in December.
True.
So I try to keep that in mind, and it helps me.
Mm-hmm.
I still have my moments, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it helps. And so that's, again, like I said, I'm shooting for that. I'm not perfect, but that's what I'm shooting for, is to find that peace, so I'm not so maximum stressed out.
It's not necessarily a New Year's resolution. I will say, I need to get better organized. I'm gonna clean out the house. I'm gonna, get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And then, like right now, it's all piled up in the basement, and I need to get it out of the basement, and I cannot seem to get get all that stuff. So that is what I'm gonna do this weekend.
Maybe this weekend.
I'm gonna get some of that stuff done.
I've got nice garage you're going to work on. That's my big project. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been done in a while, so it'll be good to have it done, because I am going to get it done this year.
I've still got some of
my
next
year. Next year.
I got some of my kids' stuff left over in our garage. I got some of my stuff, his kids, his stuff. I mean, it's just stuff.
Everybody's house is that way.
Need to be there. It's got to go. That stuff has got to get out of here. Every time I pull into the garage, I'm like, it just gives me anxiety to look at it. I'm just like, I can't. There's shelves down there with just books that are just haven't been pulled off that shelf in who knows how long. They got this much dust on them. I think it's time to get them out of there and let somebody who's gonna read them and use them do that.
Have you ever heard of the term minimalism? I'm not making a joke. I mean, I probably will make one, but bye. Listen.
No, I'm saying hi.
Oh,
Hi.
I'm actually a minimalist, so I've heard
Oh,
this term.
okay. She has heard the term.
I've heard it, but I
Minimalist.
don't know really what.
Well,
it
I was just
means.
reading this lady had written this article in this magazine that we still take a couple magazines at home.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, paper. This
Wow.
actually works.
Interesting.
But she was talking about how same kind of thing you just said. These books, whatever it is, insert the name of item. That it's like if you haven't touched that, and she would say in the last year, I would probably say, well, if I haven't touched the last 5 years, then I need to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to get rid of some stuff. Like you can always donate some clothes and help somebody else out who's less fortunate. But it's just funny that we talked about that, and my wife and I were just talking about it because she's not putting any real pressure on me yet because the garage has got a few new additions.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I made some good progress this weekend, so looking forward to this weekend.
Yeah.
Or last weekend, I made the progress, and I hope to make more this weekend.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a lot of this when hubby's at work, and I can be like, "Oh, I didn't."
Oh.
Oh,
I didn't know
darn,
that you
I
wanted to keep your bowling ball,
know.
honey.
All right, it's 8:17. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we got some more headlines to talk about. Let's see, what is the one? Oh, local Montgomery pastor that has died. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Teresa and Mike broadcasting live from the Clinton Tractor Studio. We'll be right back.
Mobile Home Parts and Supply is your go-to destination for top quality mobile home parts and supplies in Clanton, Alabama. Conveniently located at 14023 County Road 29, just 3 miles east of Thorsby. We offer a diverse inventory, including underpinning, doors, windows, faucets, tubs, setup supplies, and more. Our commitment to quality ensures you'll find the best solutions for your mobile home needs. Upgrade your space with stylish doors and windows. Enhance functionality with top-notch faucets and tubs. All conveniently available in one place. Visit us today or call 205-646-1949. Transform your mobile home with Chilton, where quality meets convenience. Looking for the perfect way to unwind, compete, and have fun with friends or family? Then Putter Up Pelham is your next destination. Coming this June. Whether you're a mini golf pro or just out for a good time, Putter Up offers a one-of-a-kind indoor putting experience with custom effects lighting, sounds, and robotics at each hole. Plus, automated scoring and a virtual caddy to guide your game. And our ADA-compliant courses include special putters for individuals using wheelchairs or walkers. So everyone can join the fun from ages 4 to 100. Rain or shine, day or night, it's always game time at Putter Up. Come for the fun, stay for the challenge. Swing by Putter Up, where every stroke counts. Need reliable towing or diesel repair? MEMS Wrecker and Heavy Duty Diesel Repair has you covered. We specialize in light and heavy duty towing and recovery with the latest equipment for any job, from campers and tractor trailers to winch box recoveries, and the only local-based rotator in the county. We do it all. Our diesel repair services include computer diagnostics, engine rebuilds, transmission and clutch work, and general maintenance. Trust MEMS Wrecker and Heavy Duty Diesel Repair for top-notch service. Call us at 205-217-1984.
We are back. The time is 8:20. You're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Teresa and Mike broadcasting live from the Clayton Tractor Studio. Apparently, I like to dominate conversation, Mike. I do apologize. Baby sent me a message that said, "Let Mike talk."
I
was
said,
like, "Oh,
I
I'm
said
sorry. I didn't
nothing.
realize I was doing that."
I thought we're doing great. I mean, we've been together now what, about 3 or 4 weeks, and so I'm learning what to do and how to do it, and following your lead, Tree.
Well,
So
apparently
I would
don't
say
know how to do it.
I would say
Talking
keep
all
up the
over you.
good work.
So we've been talking about minimalist. I can't now. I could not do what Deanna does. They live in a tiny home on a bunch of acreage, and they each have like 5 outfits. For the day. I have so many T-shirts that I'm like, oh, I really like that one. It's soft. I might wear it. But I know there's T-shirts in I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers full of T-shirts, and I bet 5 of the T-shirts I wear on the regular, but I won't get rid of them because I might still want to wear them.
Might want
The
it.
second that I get rid of them, I'm going to be, oh man, I wish I didn't get rid of that shirt. I could use it for XYZ. So,
Well, the key to me in that is, I think minimalism certainly has a certain definition,
mhm.
but I think it also could mean to someone like maybe you and me is that you minimize the space you have. In other words, if you have a 400 square foot house, great. But if you have a 4,000 square foot house, then just make sure it's not, packed with stuff.
Right.
So maybe I could have 5 more T-shirts or something, room for that. So if you got room for it and you want it, keep it. But we were
got
just talking earlier, weren't we, about saying if you had something a year or a couple years you hadn't touched it, then
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it.
That's half my closet. It's got
Well, there
to
you go.
It's got to go.
we-
Like, Puppy he's got a pair of, I don't know what you call them. They're what did we call those shoes? They're the suede shoe that kind of came up on the ankle. They were
Chukka boot?
real
A chukka?
real light tan.
Yeah,
He's got a pair of those that are old as Methuselah.
I have a pair
But
of those.
they are still look like brand new because he never wore them that much. But they're so old that the glue has come undone from the sole. But he still wants to keep them.
Yeah,
because
like a
he
rubber
might wear 'em,
rubber
and all
sole.
I gotta do is get some shoe glue and glue them back together, and they'll be perfect shoe because there's nothing wrong with them. It's just like the glue decided to give up. I mean, I wouldn't dare make him give up those Chuck. You call them Chucks or Clarks
Chukka
or,
boots, I think
don't
is
know
what I
they
call them.
What
But
do we
there's-
call those?
But I know what you're talking about. But I have a pair, and it's kind of like the old Converse sneakers that you'd wear. I mean, they have no support.
None.
I mean, they're just not made for feet that need assistance.
Right.
You know.
And just think,
Give me that good solid sole.
you guys used to wear those and play basketball in them regularly.
Oh yeah, that was our shoe. And even the high tops. You would
Paper
think
thin.
maybe that would help
yeah.
you with any ankle issues. Not really.
No.
Because it's the kind of shoe that sits up and it just kind of falls
Fall
over
over,
itself,
yeah.
because it's just there's nothing there.
That's-
But these days they make a much better structure for your foot. I don't know if it really helps or not, but that's the way they're made now.
yeah.
But yeah, back in my day we wore let's see, what were they called? The Chuck Taylor, I think. The Chuck Taylor Converse was the name of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just sneakers, like kids. You remember kids?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, here in our state we call them kids, but they're
Kids.
really kids with
Yeah.
an E. But they have no support either. Back in those days, at least, they were just like a boat shoe almost. It's a rubber sole on it, and something that you could walk in, and it was automatically broken in, just like the boots I'm talking about were. But again, they hurt my feet. After
Yeah.
I walk in them just a little while, my feet are hurting because I'm used to that support now.
Yeah. And now we've got kind of that suede type of shoe. They got the big old soles like what I'm wearing now. The soles are like that thick on them, and they're comfortable as all get out. And right now, I'm having, trouble with the bottoms of my feet hurt really bad, and these are like the most comfortable shoe I have. So my days of wearing heels, like I used to wear those really thin, like the stiletto type
I was going to say
heel.
stiletto. I've heard that term.
Oh my gosh, I used to wear those every day to work.
Yeah.
And I could not wear a stiletto if my life depended on it right now. Like, could not.
just the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it
I've-
hurts my knees.
Yeah, exactly. It
hurts
has
the
to
bottoms of
hurt.
my
It has to
feet,
hurt.
And it just and I'm not gonna do it. So I wear more of a a wedge or a platform style shoe. And those are the only kind I can wear.
Well, I told you last week about finding my old shoes from high school, my platforms.
Yep.
I haven't gotten them out of the box yet, but I'm going to.
You've got to bring those
I'm
up
going
here
to.
and let's show them off. That'd be so cool.
People would definitely, they would flash back because they were very popular.
Because I think about when I was watching the Brady Bunch and how, Greg and Peter would wear them. They'd have the heel on them.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd wear they call them the flare legs on the pants back then. And
Bell bottoms.
And or bell bottoms too.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't be all the ways dragging the ground. They'd be up just a little bit,
Just
almost
barely.
to look too short, but you
Yeah.
can see the shoe. But hey, you know what? Those girls used to wear their skirts really, really, really short, and they wore them to school that way. No, I mean that's like you won't get away with that nowadays.
Well, that's when the mini skirt first became real popular was the 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the era you're talking about.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the mini skirt. I've worn one when I'm dressing up as an 80s or something, but I can't remember ever really owning a mini skirt. I don't think my mom would have never let me wear anything. It had to be right at the knee, like just maybe a centimeter above the kneecap. All my stuff had to be at the knee. It could not be any higher than that. My mom would have a stroke. I remember one time I tried to walk out of the house in a cut-off shirt, and she was like, "Get your butt back in this house and take that off. You better not wear that outside."
Right, exactly. Well, that's where
Don't
it
do
starts, And
Well, I was like,
hey, if your
everybody
parents
do it.
didn't stop you, then you might have worn stuff like that, So,
Ricky says, "What are you talking about? We had Velcro traces from Kmart, or I think he meant tracks from Kmart. I had some Velcro shoes, yeah. Well, Mike says he wears his Hokas. He said he walks 12 to 15,000 steps a day, sometimes more. He couldn't imagine doing that without his Hokas. I think those are a pretty good shoe. They're expensive though.
Yeah, I have some Brooks
Pricey.
that are, I think, running shoes, but I walk in them. I don't run anymore unless, something's chasing me.
Yeah.
But I just walk and, 3 or 4 miles a day is about what I do. Maybe sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. But average about 4, I think, according to my phone. But they're not Hokas, but it's a real good brand to walk in. The Brooks.
I don't walk at all. I do the elliptical some, which I did it.
Oh yeah, you set up the home gym.
I did it
a couple weeks ago
or Saturday. What day did I come back? I did it the day I came back from.
Well, Christmas was Thursday. Did you come back Friday?
Maybe I haven't walked on the treadmill. I haven't done the treadmill. The elliptical, I haven't done it in like 3 or 4 days. I need to get back on it.
Well,
I
that's
fell
all
off.
part of
I
that
fell
stress
off.
thing that we were talking
Yep.
about. That'll help you relieve some of that stress if you have it.
You're right. But I think hubby likes to work out in the afternoon. I think I would do better in the morning. But I also do better when he's down there with me.
Right.
Like if I'm down there by myself, I'm not as motivated. But when he's down there with me and we're got the music jamming
Yeah.
and I'm looking over at him and he's looking over at me and we're kind of working out, that's, I like that. He is
And
not going to get up in the morning
motivating
and
each
do it.
other, right?
Yep.
So that's good, though. I mean, hey, most people go into a gym. They usually meet other people there for that same reason,
To keep you-
accountability and all those things, And that was good. That goes a lot towards those New Year's resolutions we were talking about. I'm going to get in better shape this year. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's often what people, resolve they're going to do. And to have that person, your partner, your best friend, to go with you and say, hey, you can do it, or, come on, you
Yeah.
got this, whatever it takes for you to get motivated. That's a great thing. So I'm glad you have that home gym. Like I said, I've got this half a mile that I walk back and forth on basically a dead end road, which is great because very little traffic.
And you have the farm that you work on.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
so
that's-
you get a
that's
lot of
different.
physical activity
Oh, I do.
that
and
way as well.
We've been doing a lot of firewood here lately, and 'cause
Oh,
I think we'll have some more today to deliver because it's about 25 degrees
Yeah.
still
little
out
chilly.
there. Little chilly.
Little chilly. Montgomery, Alabama. Pastor DeQuarius Green of Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church
Just mentioned Elba a minute ago, didn't I?
died Saturday after being shot in what authorities described as a domestic incident. He sustained critical wounds at his Level Plains home on December 23rd. The church's Facebook page has confirmed that right now it shows that Green, the pastor that was shot, was already facing 3 misdemeanor counts of domestic violence. And the woman who shot him is the mother of his children. And right now she has not been arrested because they are saying that it was self-defense, which is sad because you got a man who is a pastor of a church.
Holds himself out to be.
Yes. And yet behind closed doors, something else is going on. And just because you are a pastor does not mean that you don't face the same trials and tribulations as everybody else. You're still going to
Absolutely
have
not.
the
Exactly.
same things go on. However, domestic violence is never okay.
Well, in this situation, it happened in Level Plains, which is in, I think, northwest Dale County, right near Coffee County, where Elba is.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, the sheriff there was a gentleman I met a couple times, Mason Bynum, in my previous job when I worked for that lobbyist I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
But this gentleman was arrested and charged with these. They're misdemeanor counts, but still, it's domestic violence, which is violence is never the best answer. But those charges were dismissed because the victim refused to testify against him.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Teresa, that happens to a lot of women. And I'm going to say women because I don't know what, it's a very high percentage. There's man against woman,
Yeah,
not the other
men.
way around.
But mostly women.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they just, for whatever reason, they're afraid of their tormentor
Mm-hmm.
or what, but they don't testify against them. And that, of course, that led to these charges being dropped, but yet something else happened, and now this person is dead.
It also says here in another protection order filing, a woman alleged that Green, with whom she has children, repeatedly struck her and once when she was pregnant. And they don't know if it is as of right now, they are not saying whether it was the same person that shot him, but they did not arrest her right now because the authorities believe the shooting may have been justified.
And
So
and
I
obviously
guess
they're
we'll find
conducting
out
their
more.
investigation,
Mhm.
and they'll I'm sure Sheriff Bynum will complete that soon enough, and final decision will be made.
Yeah.
That is tragic that something like that happens. And like you said, we expect our pastors to be above reproach, but they aren't. They're humans just like us, and they make mistakes. But again, this is a big mistake for a person to make, a big error in judgment. And he paid for it with his life.
Yeah. Did you see? This is terrible. A 16-year-old is in jail after accused of shooting his brother. But it's not only that he shot his brother, but what he shot his brother for eating his food Sunday night. This happened in Memphis. And the teen is charged now with aggravated assault and unlawful possession of a weapon. What are we doing?
Well, it used to be, I know I'll talk about what used to be.
Well, I do too.
Used to be ain't coming back, folks.
Yeah, I know it isn't, but we
when
still
you
talk
had a
about it.
dispute, you settled it other ways.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure there were guys in my day who had guns in their vehicles and could have shot somebody, but they didn't shoot somebody. If they had a dispute with them, they talked it out or they worked it out other ways. You know
With
what
the
I mean?
fists,
With their
usually.
fists, typically.
And usually brothers, they're going to tussle around and argue over food.
Oh.
And, and it's going to be the end of it.
See
But
this giant bump
shooting
over
them?
here? I got that from fighting with my brother. But
Well, my sister hit me, and I have a scar right here. She
There
hit me
you
in the mouth
go.
with a baton that we were fighting over. She
So-
won.
you didn't take a gun and shoot somebody. I mean, and stealing food. I mean, that's the tip of the iceberg, right? More than likely, these brothers have had problems about different things.
It was probably leftovers, if I had to guess. And
Yeah.
then one brother thought they were his leftovers, and the other brother said, "Well, you hadn't eaten them yet, so I'm going to go ahead." That's how we do it in our family. Look, it sit there for a minute. After that, it was fair game, and if it got eaten, that's on you. You should have eaten it when it was available. So I get those arguments.
Unwritten rules of the
Unwritten
household,
rules
right?
Of the household, yeah. know?
But
So-
this is just something that you just shake your head and go, gosh, couldn't y'all have settled that a different way? You know, even if it was a little brother getting picked on by his big brother, which I can certainly relate to, you know, you just settle it different ways. You know, it goes a lot with the household and the way you're raised and how you
True.
respond to other people, because you know conflict is going to happen, right, Teresa? Every day we face some sort of conflict, and we have to choose how are we going to respond to it. Yeah, you can get all mad and everything, but what does that really do?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I was not always a great peaceful person. I was extremely emotional, but fortunately God gave me time and I've grown up a little more and I'm
Yeah.
a little less of that. I'm not perfect and never will be, but at the same time, I was raised that you settled your conflicts other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're not talking about a situation like we were just talking about with the pastor who's attacking
It's a little different.
attacking the women, you know, right? That's different. You know, they responded in self-defense, it sounds like. But here, you got two brothers. I mean, 16-year-old. He knows better than to
Yeah.
do this, but yet that's how his environment has been influenced him to react when something like that occurs. And that's the thing that we're working on as a society to try to turn that ship around. You know, we were talking about the football coach earlier doing that. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
it's a bit.
You know, if
It's a shame.
if I did that every time my husband ate something in the cabinet that I deemed in my head as mine, like my plain chips that I like to eat with my sandwiches, if he's home and he wants a snack and that's the only thing left in the cabinet, guess what he's going to do? He's going to eat them. And then when I go in there and I fix myself a sandwich and I think, man, I'm going to get me some of them chips to go with this PB&J. And then I open the cabinet and guess what?
Poof.
My bag is gone. And I'm like, I'll go look in the garbage can and there my bag is, empty as all get out.
Golly.
Now, if I solved that, he would have been gone a long time ago. I mean, because
Right.
he eats my stuff all the time, what I consider mine. It's actually ours.
I know what you mean,
But
though.
I've claimed it because those are the chips that I buy because I like them. He prefers a different chip, but if it's what's left in the cabinet and I haven't eaten them all, fair game.
My wife is a planner. She'll plan out our menu for 2 weeks.
Don't do
You know, that's her thought. Now, it doesn't. She's flexible, of course, and to change it as needed. But she is a planner,
Mm-hmm.
and so you know, there's going to be 2 or 3 nights in that 2 weeks. It's going to be leftovers,
Oh yeah.
and so you know that'll be leftover from every other meal that she's prepared. And so, my typical question is can I eat the chicken tetrazzini in here or whatever it is, you know? And she said, no, that's for leftovers, you know, for tonight or something, whatever.
Mhm.
So we work together. But if she's not there, then I have made
Whoops.
I've made that choice, like you were just saying, and eating our leftovers.
So hubby makes fun of me because before he and I, moved in and started living together, my mom and we didn't do leftovers very much because we didn't have them.
Mm.
There's 5 of us in the family, and when
Yeah.
she cooked, we might have had a few little things left over, but very rarely did we have anything left over enough to have a meal another night. with.
Exactly.
Maybe a snack or a lunch or something for 1 or 2 people. Now, if she cooked spaghetti or chili or vegetable beef soup, that was a different
Sometimes
story.
there
We'd
were some
have
leftovers for that.
for a couple of days. But typically if anything else, so she would cook something new every night. I
Mm.
mean, that's just what we did. And I
Right.
would come home from school and I'd help prepare some of that and pull out whatever, pour the pork chops out or the chicken out. Or
Yeah,
go
whatever,
ahead and
like you
get that
said,
out.
whatever needed to do.
And so I'm used to cooking something different and not eating a lot of leftovers. Hubby cooks for just himself and would eat leftovers all week, the same thing all week. So he'd cook a roast for himself, and then all week for lunch and dinner, he'd eat roast. And, he'd cook spaghetti for himself, and all week, lunch and dinner.
Try not to waste it.
Yep. But I didn't do that, and it drove him nuts. He goes, we've got spaghetti left over, and I'm like, I don't want that. I mean, I just did not.
Well,
I was a little spoiled by the way my mom did, and the way I do is I cook something different. He goes, you don't have to cook something new every night. We can eat leftovers. It gets expensive to make all this food, and it's not getting eaten. And I'm like, well, I understand that, but.
Well, I told you before that my wife doesn't want to fix turkey except for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Okay,
Right,
that's and pretty much that's it.
Yep.
So, leftovers around those dates are very important to me because I get to eat turkey again, you know. But even that, after a couple, 3 times, that's probably enough.
Yeah.
Your husband eating something all week, that's a man right there now.
I know, right? If it's a leftover, he will. Before I came along. Now he buys himself these lunches that he heats up at work, but the leftovers are for us for dinner. Now roast, I'll eat that a couple of days. I don't mind eating that. Chili, I don't mind eating that. Spaghetti, I don't mind eating that.
It's definitely chilly weather now.
Oh,
and don't you like a good pot of chili right now?
We had spaghetti last night and the night before, and he made so much sauce. We have plenty.
So what's
of
the
sauce
difference
left.
between spaghetti sauce and chili?
It's completely different.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Just the spices, you think?
Yeah, I mean, you do.
Because, you look at them.
Tomatoes, but you add the beans and a chili pack of seasonings. It's completely different. Not even remotely the same.
Well, I'll have to check out some recipes and see what the exact difference is.
Yeah.
Because it sure looks like the same stuff.
It's not.
It's not.
Not even remote. No. No. I watch the preparation, and I make it too, so I know I don't use the exact same stuff. The only thing that's the same is whether some people use like stewed tomatoes or crushed tomatoes or something like that, and they may use one for spaghetti and the other for the chili.
Do you flavor your beef when you're fixing those, or do you just let the sauce handle that?
No, I flavor the beef too, and I do the sauce as well.
Okay.
On both, I always flavor.
But I always love a good bowl of hot chili on a very cold day.
I like vegetable beef soup. I love that stuff. I could eat that. And we had some not too long ago, and we ate a lot of it. I made a huge pot.
Yeah, well, that
I made way too much.
Like you were saying, that's a good thing because you can freeze that and bring that out
pretty
easily. Exactly, that's right.
Oh boy, I made a ton of that stuff, and unfortunately, the dog got the last little bit of that because even I was like, I cannot. Hubby was like, we cannot eat vegetable soup another day. We're done.
Well, you were talking about your family, and I think you said 5, and there weren't a lot of leftovers. But I had a friend of mine that he had a family of 5. He was part of a member, and I would go over occasionally, spend the night or whatever, and have dinner with them. And they had several dogs back they had them in a pen, but they were a big pen, but they had them, and that would be part of their food.
Mm-hmm.
Was what was left over every night that I was every time I was ever over there. That's what they did.
Mm-hmm.
They would take and just mix that in with the food, and have a big giant like a something you see for a bunch of hogs,
Yeah. Slop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it looked like. And they just dump it out there and those dogs would lap it up.
All right, it's 8:44. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about an update on the shooting that happened near Velma's over in Trustful. It's kind of a little bit of a twist to that we didn't see coming. So we'll talk about that. When we come back, you're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Teresa and Mike, broadcasting live from the Clinton Tractor Studio. Stay with us.
Begin with an ending. Lasting family legacies are established at Martin Funeral Home, where for over 100 years, we have served the families in our community. Bobby, Donnie, Norma, and our family at Martin Funeral Home would like to express our sincere gratitude for allowing us to serve your family. Every life story deserves the perfect setting. We are here to make that happen for you and your loved one. We offer traditional funeral home services, and we are now excited to be the home of the first crematory in Clanton, Alabama. Our goal is to serve our families no matter what their needs are. Martin Funeral Home, serving Chilton County since 1921. Please give us a call at 205-755-3550.
From all of our family at Wood Surfside Marina, we want to wish you a very merry and blessed Christmas and a happy new year. And yes, a pontoon boat does fit in Santa's sleigh. Are you tired of big box stores where you're just another number? You deserve better. Furniture that's built to last from people who treat you like family. At Farmers Home Furniture in Clanton, we do things differently. As an employee-owned company, we take pride in personal service. We'll listen to what you need and help you find the perfect piece for your home from trusted, top-notch name brand. Whether it's a cozy sofa for movie nights, a dining set built for real life, or a recliner that melts the stress away, we've got you covered. Don't settle for less. Experience the difference at Farmers Home Furniture in Clanton, where you're not just a customer, you're family. Workout Anytime in Clanton is now open. Your fitness, your schedule. We have top-of-the-line treadmills and weights, but we are more than just a gym. We bring luxury and results to your fitness routine. Relax in our sauna. Recharge with red light therapy. Refresh in our hydro massage beds. Get that glow with unlimited tanning and push your limits with dynamic classes. Need guidance? Our personal trainers are here to help you set your goals, stay motivated, and get real results. This is your space, your time, your transformation. Open 24/7. Workout Anytime, now open in Clanton.
Traditions come and go, but excellent service and compassionate care are benchmarks in any era. That's what Ellison Memorial Funeral Home is committed to providing you, whether through the pre-arrangement process or seeking services at your time of loss. Ellison Memorial offers a noticeable level of care and attention to detail. Others do not. So before making a decision based on yesterday's traditions, experience the Ellison difference when it comes to your loved one's final arrangements. You'll be glad you did. Call us today at 205-280-4600. Ellison Memorial Funeral Home, setting the new standard in local funeral service excellence. We are always here when you need us.
We are back. The time is 8:48. You're listening to Morning Mayhem here on Piper Peach Radio. Therese and Mike broadcasting live from the Clanton Tractor Studio. Like it was last week or so, maybe a little bit before that, there was a shooting that happened at Velma's Bar in Trussville. A lot of people know that. It's been a staple, or was a staple, in that area for many years. It was one of the first karaoke places you could go to. It was a little bitty hole in the wall. You couldn't get a whole lot of people in, but a whole lot of people got in.
Never been to
anyway.
Velma's, at least not yet.
It closed down, and now it's reopened. I think it closed down in like 2009. And a couple bought the building and decided to bring it back because everybody was devastated when it closed. And it's a really cool little place. I actually had my birthday party there because I love to karaoke. I had my birthday party there a couple years ago, but there was a shooting that happened in the parking lot, kind of adjacent to there. A young man had come in with a young lady, and the young lady
said it was his ex-girlfriend.
The young lady and another young lady got into some words, and then it went to the parking lot, and a young man by the name, I think it's Christian White, tried to intervene, and he apparently, it says here that he pushed Harper.
They were falling, tumbling,
and
confronted each other.
Harper pulls out a gun and shoots the guy. He says it's self-defense.
He dies too. Mr. White died.
Yeah, the young guy died. He was from Moody. And it's just a sad situation because the other guy did not have a weapon. And that's kind of where the self-defense is coming into play, whether it, this Harper guy, the one that did the shooting, apparently had some domestic violence claims against him, and that was kind of how the fight started.
Yeah, the lady that he brought to the bar was the one who had filed charges against him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't say whether she recanted that or not, like the other story that we had where that happened, where the pastor was not, the victim would not testify against the pastor.
Right.
I don't know if that happened here or not, but it certainly could have. But said that he was punched by Mr. White.
Yeah.
So, does that bring up, is that strong enough for a self-defense argument, or defense, really? Because, when he's going to be charged. So I don't know what happened. I mean, his attorney says it was self-defense. But
He's at home with a $200,000 bond, and he's got electronic monitoring on.
Usually means an ankle bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he can only do so much. Those ankle bracelets. I actually went one day, was getting my hair done in Moody, by the way. And
coincidentally, it was in Moody, huh?
I was in Moody, and I was sitting there waiting my turn to get my hair done to go sit in the lady's seat, and there was another lady that was getting her hair shampooed, and I just happened to look down, and she had an ankle monitor on, and I was like, what in the world? And I knew this lady, and so her having the ankle monitor really I went, is that
So you had a few questions about that?
I did have a few questions about that. I'm not going to say her name. She's passed on now. Turned out that she had a tax place and a mortgage company that was not exactly on the up and up. So she got in trouble with the federal government.
Perhaps some questionable business practices, Treese.
And well, it turned out that one of the other people that was working in the salon also had an ankle monitor on.
So you began to realize.
Because it was mom and daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
all in the family.
Oh, my God. This only could happen out here. But yeah, it was interesting. I had a bazillion questions for some people that were in the know. I went back, I was like, what in the world?
What happened?
What happened? I had to know. I absolutely had to know.
And did you find out what happened?
That's when I was told it was from the mortgage company and the tax stuff.
But they both were related to the mortgage company?
Yeah, they both had worked in it. And,
okay, I got you. Okay. I didn't understand that.
We're in trouble.
That both of them were at the same business.
Yeah. Mother and daughter. Yeah. All in, like you said, all in the family. This story from Velma's is really sad. And here's the thing. There were only a couple of people outside that saw it, and you don't know who's going to tell the truth. And a young man is dead, and it's so tragic because they were having an ugly Christmas sweater party there. It was a week before Christmas, I think, is when it happened.
The story says that there's video for the outside, but of course it started on the inside. And
right.
What happened there and exactly.
Well, I know, and here's the thing, is that the shooting did not actually happen on Velma's property. It happened, Velma's is got a connected parking lot to a garage, like auto repair or something, and it actually happened in their parking lot, which is kind of connected.
Adjacent to it.
A lot of people will park in that parking lot after hours because there's not a lot of parking where Velma's is.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
And
People do that all the time, right?
I think that's in that parking lot is where it actually happened because Velma's had a statement put out, this did not happen on our property. And then the Trussville police had to put out a statement that it did not happen on Velma's property because people were saying it happened at Velma's, but it really didn't happen. The altercation started verbally at Velma's, I guess, but the actual incident that took place was in another parking lot.
the facts are that he was shot
Yes.
in a different location,
Yes.
but right next door to the bar. I don't know what the history is that Velma's has as far as these types of incidents, but they could have some significant liability because these people come in and they obviously this guy had a gun. He's in the bar and he's carrying a gun. Do they have signs up that say no guns, no firearms? I don't know. I've never been in there
either.
but they that's probably why they put that statement out. Hey, this didn't happen on our property, even though it started on their property. And I guarantee it wouldn't take too good of an attorney to tie it right back to Velma's.
And the sad part is I know the couple that own it, and they are great people, and they put their heart and soul into bringing that place back. And I know for a fact that there has not been any outside of that one incident. There hasn't been any riffraff or anything going on around there. It's just really a cool place to go and just
good. I'm glad to hear
hang
it. Sound
out.
like it the way you described
Yeah,
it with
it
the times you'd
back
been there.
in the day. It's maybe a little more questionable, but they've revitalized it and it's remodeled completely on the inside.
Is
and
Velma still around, or did somebody just keep the name?
think
you think
so. I think she may
Okay.
have passed on. She was older back when I was going in the
I got
early
you.
'90s. So
I got you. Oh well, then that's probably.
yeah, I don't
Just
know.
a-
They kept the name because it was just such a staple.
Oh yeah, that goodwill.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure that they knew people would come if they say the old Velma's. But it's completely different on there. It doesn't look anything like it did when I went there.
Somebody's renovated it.
Yeah, it's
Right.
been completely redone. And I mean, I hate it. Anytime something like that happens outside or near a bar, it's bad because you're not supposed to handle a firearm if you've been drinking
Convicted of
alcohol
that.
anyway.
And also, if you've been convicted of a felon,
Yeah, and we don't know any of
A felony,
that,
rather.
whether he's been convicted of anything outside. I just know there were domestic violence claims against him, not that he was ever charged with anything.
doesn't say.
It doesn't really say. Yeah, it does not.
Just said claims that she made against him. The lady, but that was the lady that he brought in the bar. So that's the thing we were just talking about, how complicated relationships can get. That you get so mad at somebody, you lash out at them, and then you feel bad, they feel bad, they feel responsible, you feel responsible, and it's just sometimes it goes away and doesn't ever come back because you learn your lesson. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't lose my temper like that anymore. But then other times, like the one with the pastor and this one, for example, leads to another incident. And that's unfortunately what happens too often.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. I hate that. All right, it's 8:58. That's gonna just about do it for us today on Morning Mayhem. We will have a New Year's Eve show tomorrow, so we'll be here bright and early tomorrow.
Lord willing, I'll be here with you.
And Thursday and Friday we will not, and then we're back on Monday. No, we won't. Mm-mm.
Jason and Bill will be here.
Who?
Jason and Bill.
Oh, Jason and Bill will be here on
Okay.
Friday. Okay. Jason and Bill will be here on Friday. I just knew I wasn't. I wasn't going to be here on Friday.
But we will be broadcasting then.
Yeah, there will be a broadcast, a Morning Mayhem show. And then after that, there will be no more vacation days or holidays until Memorial Day.
May something.
Yeah.
About the end of
That'll
May,
be
I think.
it, yeah. So, we got to lap this up, and then that's it.
Well, time to get back to work.
Yeah. yeah. The holidays come,
The
and they
party's
go,
over.
and then the party's over. Yes, it absolutely is. What is that? Well, the Auld Lang Syne song. Should all acquaintance be forgot? Did you ever hear the Dan Fogelberg kind of
I have.
version where he throws that song in there?
I do.
That
I
song
have.
that song got me. It would make me cry every time I heard
Yeah,
it.
and it is, man. But it is like throw away the old and bring in the new, the fresh, and hopefully be better.
Yes.
That's the goal, right?
Well, I'm
whatever.
gonna be
however
better.
you define that better.
I'm going to be better because I'm going to be decluttered a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to read that story again about the minimalist
Yeah.
because I doubt I could do it, but I could. Like I was saying, I could probably. I know I can make much better use of the space I have instead of stack.
Yeah.
Which
I
have
got
a
to get rid of some of
few
that
things
stuff.
in the
Goodness
garage
gracious.
right now. A few extra things, I think.
Oh, that stuff's got to go. All right, it's 9 o'clock. That is going to do it for us. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. It's cold outside. Bundle up. Stay warm.
Stay warm, everybody.
Mike's got to go get some shoes because he didn't want to ask his wife to bring them.
No, I didn't. Although I did see on the phone where she left, so I guess she could actually be here.
Oh.
I hope she didn't do
She
it.
may have heard it.
I didn't want to disturb her.
Oh, goodness.
Stay in that nice warm bed.
If she brought those to you, she gets an A+++ in the wife division.
Well, I feel very confident if I had asked her to, she would have done it.
Yeah.
But I just like, no big deal. I can always use another work shoe.
You could alternate them.
That's
Nothing
right.
wrong with that.
And go check out Baden's recommendation.
All right. Y'all have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching Morning